Hi, this is Mike Rubel. This is letter number 15, Letters from the Edge, and it's about airports. It's kind of an interesting piece about travel, and many of us do that, I know, and especially now that the COVID thing is kind of over. But it's an interesting piece on the people in the airport. It goes like this. If one were to look for a microcosm of the United States, you need to look no further than your local airport. The bigger the airport, the bigger the sample size. The interesting thing about people roaming the airport, waiting for or disembarking from a plane, is the dress code, and the overall nature of the passengers is quite revealing. In addition to the people wandering around the gates, there are the pets that accompany a particular passenger as their service dog, as if they would be lost without the animal close to them. Besides dogs, they have cats, birds, and other wildly creative pets that calm the nerves of the owners as if they're going to protect them when the plane crashes. One of the many flights I happened to be on was in the aisle in first class, and there was a woman sitting next to me with a small dog in one of those cute little carry bags where the pet dutifully lay in quiet solitude at the feet of her master. The dog, a Canis familiaris in Latin terms, was secretly allowed out of the cage to lay at the feet of the master, an overweight woman dressed in an outfit fitted for a teenager and not someone of her size or age. Undaunted, however, she fancied herself as a fashionista and surely capable of pulling it off. I have no idea what type of dog it was, but within 15 minutes, I felt it humping my leg as I was trying to settle into a book on the Italian language. I suppose it was appropriate, given the Romans' penchant for wild orgies, but in this day and age, a dog humping my leg did not fit into the nature of this flight. I felt like it was part of the TV show Animal Kingdom, and that was part of the script. What wasn't part of the script was me roughly kicking the dog across the aisle to lay at the feet of my fellow passenger on the other side. I said to him, "Hey, it's not my dog, it's a stray, and it happened to belong to the woman next to me, so don't kick it back to me." The woman screamed as if the plane was going down and yelled at me, "What did you do to my Fluffy? You could have hurt him. I should sue you for animal cruelty." "Well," I said gently, "your beloved pet was humping my leg, and the only way I could get off was to gently move it off my leg." "Well," she said, "that was not a gentle way to treat my Fluffy." After which she retrieved the dog and gently slid the horny little bastard back into the cage. I smiled and looked at my fellow passenger across the aisle as he was suppressing a laugh, knowing that any outburst of mirth would further infuriate my row partner. After landing, I had an hour to kill at the airport while I awaited a connecting flight. So I decided to find a seat in a high traffic area and observe the endless stream of people walking to and from airports. Many of them are overweight, underweight, but a lot of them are tattooed and usually accompanied these bad body types as they stroll by. Why, I ask, if you weigh 260 pounds as a female or male, will you adorn your copious body with tattoos? Then wear something that was designed to show off these colorful display of senseless design and color palette. I don't know. In some cases, the body is further distinguished with hair dyed purple or blue. Some passengers are dressed in clothes that fit the body type, especially younger women who generally wear something that shows off their youthful curves, or men who are muscular with big chests who wear tight t-shirts. But really the predominant fashion for the airport seems to be the more casual type. Sweatpants, baggy jeans with holes and rips, or bleached out things along their legs and thighs. And in one case, a man wearing a bathing suit and a Mets t-shirt. Ah, those Mets fans. And so we have a complete cross-section of the American populace, big or small, fat or tall, all represented in the airport. We are a diverse nation for sure, but the standards seem to be constantly sliding especially in the weight category, where the population has increased from an overall obesity rate of 15% in 1985 to 40% presently. This gradual increase in weight has forced the airlines to adjust their load capacity and reduce the amount of freight they can carry. I usually like to walk around during the flight, especially after the beverage service, and spend time with the flight attendants in the rear of the plane. This has changed some since COVID, but prior to that devastating virus, it was my normal routine to stretch my legs at the rear of the plane and chat for a while with the flight attendants. During one of my conversations with the folks gathered there in the service area, a middle-aged man came back to use the facility. He was rather plump, an understatement for certain, and looked at the bathroom door and then looked at the flight attendants and myself and said, "Wow, that's a very tiny doorway. I don't know if I can fit through it." I looked at him casually and said, "Well, that should tell you something, shouldn't it?" This generated an irritated look from the passenger, who then proceeded to squeeze through the doorway to spite my insensitive comment. After he successfully managed entry, he turned around with a smile as if to say, "See, I did it." The sequence caused me to smile and try to suppress a laugh. When I looked at the flight attendants, they were doing the same. People come in all shapes and sizes, but they do make up the fabric of our nation. But still, they are our fellow citizen, and we're all tied together through history and the love of our country, at least in my opinion. We face danger from enemies, both foreign and domestic, and all of us should do the right thing for the preservation of our country and its ideals upon which it was founded. The original intent with this letter was to expound on my observation of airports and the folks that travel through them, especially in the United States. I should not be the one to judge other people, but there's such a different element to our life that generations past would gasp if they could see what happened in their future. I believe it's incumbent on all of us to be more health conscious, to be less sedentary, and ensure our children and our next generation do not follow in our footsteps. In the era of electric bikes and scooters and skateboards, etc., there's little chance that the young will develop into a citizen with a body mass index under 30. Regardless of statistic, we all owe it to our nation and ourselves to be more prudent in our choice of food and the consumption thereof. So let's win one for the Gipper and take care of our bodies, our loved ones, and above else, our nation. Thank you and God bless.